Sophie Felix, Faith and Service Lead to Branding Success, subtitled Coffee with Sophie. This is episode 17 on All Mavens Branded Podcast.
I just want to emphasize, any entrepreneur listening to this podcast to never give up, to always, when you go, be a man or woman of your word. Business doesn't always happen exactly like you want, but your clients, if they see that you're honest and at the end of the day, you do deliver, you gotta follow through. And because of the pandemic right now, it's so vital for you to rebrand your business. Even if you don't have a business, rebrand your resume, your headshot, and be ready and prepared to make sure that you are on top of your game.
I'm John Beethan, your host of All Mavens Branded Podcast. The podcast brought to you by the Crazies at All Maven, which is a full-service digital marketing agency located in Southern California. And today I'm sharing with you a favorite conversation I had with Sophie Felix, the owner of HBM Talent and Management, a boutique model and talent management agency representing clients in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, New York, London, Germany, Switzerland, and Milan. And Sophie says, work hard, brand well, give back to the community, and they'll seek you out. This is one of my favorite episode conversations I've ever had, and Sophie is my kind of person. So let's jump in and get to know how Sophie's faith, servitude, and expertise in branding has led to her and HBM's clients' success. Sophie, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. How are you?
I am good. And how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
We're both in Southern California, right?
Absolutely. It's such a beautiful day outside.
I know. It's November 20th, and I'm not sure, but I think it's like 75 degrees outside in Carlsbad up here. How about there?
I'm in East Lake Chula Vista, and it feels like paradise in my backyard.
Nice. Well, right off the top, I want to let people know that you were on a show with Kelly Bagla's Go Legal Yourself podcast. That was episode 58. I would encourage people to go listen to it. The title of that one was called How to Get Recognized, which, since that's been covered, we'll be talking about something completely different today. But if you go to golegalyourselfpodcast.com and just look for episode 58, and you can leave Kelly questions about law and all sorts of things. It's a really good show. But today, I think we discussed covering branding, mainly because I'm looking at your website going, are you kidding me? My gosh. So HBM Talent and Management. And then, just a little thing about the American Children's of Fallen Heroes project. And what's really impressive about you is that you give so much to the community. You're a giver. I can tell that. But you've also recently won some awards. And so why don't you introduce yourself, how you would like the podosphere to know you as?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Sophie Felix. I'm founder and CEO of HBM Talent and Management, and I manage some of the top international models, actors, influencers, motivational speakers, and entrepreneurs. Some of my clients are based in LA, New York, London, Milan, Germany, Switzerland, Las Vegas. I'm based in San Diego, California. I'm in LA a lot as well. I'm also Southern California chapter president of America's Children of Fallen Heroes, and we're a nonprofit charity that supports children of fallen military heroes, police officers, and firefighters. I have two programs. One's an EOA program, and that's an expression of appreciation where we get letters of encouragement from civilians, influencers, and other companies I give them to the children when I meet them. And I also have a dream development program, and we're working on a 10-year mentorship program that will support one of the children, whether it is therapy, treatments, music. We do Make-A-Wish type things. We have a custom-made Jeep where we go on adventures for them. So what our intention is and our goal is to help them realize their American dream and then help them go after it, whatever it is. So that's one of my long-term goals and legacies, is to make sure that those children know how much we appreciate and love and support their families. Their parent gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. So it's very important for me personally. I come from a military family. All my uncles were in the military here in San Diego. We have the biggest shipyard here. We have Marines here. So it's very important for me. I'm living my American dream. I want to see others do that. So that's what that's for. And I love it.
Yeah, obviously you're not very busy.
I'm very busy, but when you do things that you love, like, that are exciting, that are inspirational, it doesn't feel like work all the time.
No, it's not.
There are those times where, especially with my position with HBM, I'm literally managing people's careers. That's their livelihoods. It's a lot of pressure. But when you know what you're doing, you're confident and you're able to handle business, you're able to handle your schedule. It's a blessing.
Yeah, and it's okay in this podcast to have a little coffee to keep us going on a Friday afternoon. We discussed this earlier. It's like 2:00 Friday afternoon. I've been up since 1:30. I don't know your schedule, Sophia, but hey, it's okay to have a cup of coffee in the afternoon, right?
Delicious.
Delicious. Yeah. So you can feel free to actually take the conversation where you'd like. I do want to cover some branding aspects and the website and that aspect of the business, and definitely the awards, because I've seen them from the website. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's very impressive. I don't know how you do it all, but why don't you give us a hint how you do it all?
Well, it's been several years of behind the scenes hard work and dedication to build those contacts. However, I never gave up on my dream. When I first started HBM, it was just a hobby at the time. At the time, I was working for the Department of Defense, and I did that for 14 years since I was 19. But through that time, on the side, I was developing HBM, and I ended up signing one of the top international male models in New York, Phil Fusco. So that kind of put me in a really good position. And over time, I started realizing, you know what, I'm ready to do that full time and go for it. And it's been amazing. This year since the pandemic, I've doubled my clientele and went from just USA to international, which is great. The talent that I have gotten, all of them have reached out to me. I didn't have to go scout them or seek them.
That's great.
They found me online because I brand myself well, and so I'm very fortunate to be able to work with the top talent that are so professional, so hardworking, like myself. And that's how that got started with HBM. But something, a topic is I feel it helped with my success is the way I branded myself. Definitely.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So how did you approach it?
I approached it. I looked at myself like I was my own client, like I was one of my clients. And when it comes to HBM, really, yeah, I managed all the talent and all that, and they're more known because of who they are. But really, I'm the face of the company. People want to do business because it's me, and I'm successful. So the way I branded myself was I want to be respected. I want to be powerful. I want to give back to my community. And by doing all those things, after a while, it all came together, and it just took off. So by investing in myself and my image, my brand, my marketing, how my flyers and website look was vital to elevating my company at the time where it was crucial.
So I'm going to ask you this. I thought about this afternoon. I thought, should I ask her? No.
What?
Okay.
You're putting me on the spot. What do you want to ask?
Well, I'm sure you can handle it. So it's real. Let's imagine for a minute, I'd like to actually use your services and brand myself as a podcast producer and actually a talent. So what would be kind of the first kind of things that we would do together?
Sure. First, I would have you submit pretty much all your photos, experience, pitch it to me so I could see pitch it to me. When you send me that email for a submission, that's the deal breaker. I
Mm.
look at everything and then I actually do research on you by myself. And then
Mhm.
I'll come up with a game plan or ideas, or, most likely, I'll think of ways to actually rebrand you and your company in small ways. So usually with clients, I'll do an initial consultation where we discuss that. But a lot of it is just getting information. And then I go from there after the consultation and see where I could do, as far as, does this client need to do rebranding? Does this client need to do a marketing campaign on social media? Does this client need brand placement in the top magazines for podcast owners? I would seek, what are the top successful podcast entrepreneurs that are out there? What are they doing? And how can we switch it and customize it to make you on top?
Nice. That's great. All right. So I'm sure I can just sign up at the website, right?
Of course. You have
Great.
my email, so I'm going to be waiting for that email. And make sure you send the best photos.
Yes. Well, you're kind of looking at it.
You know, Even with my top talent, I've actually had to rebrand all of them. Um,
I'm sure.
yeah, and when they come, I'll tell them, okay, this is what I want. Go do this photo shoot, exactly what I want. And some of them deliver. I'm like, wow, but most of them, I tell them I can't work with you or represent you until I have this, or
Mhm.
until you do this, because that's my name on it. And
Mhm.
anything with my name on it, it can't look amateur or half, has to be 100% good
Mhm.
to go.
Well, I've seen the portfolio on your website, and the first thing I think I need to do is join a gym. Just kidding.
Do
Well,
you want to know what's funny?
yeah, I
So at
do.
home,
I always want to know
so
what's
at
going on.
home, when I lift my award like this.
Oh yeah. So this is an audio podcast. People can't see it, but
This is my Telly Award, and it
so
weighs like 15 pounds.
well, don't move. I have to like snap a picture. I know this is an audio podcast. Smile next to your picture. Yay, yay. Perfect. So, and actually yourself, why don't you, after the podcast, hold it up, take a selfie with it, and that'll be the artwork. We'll use some of that artwork for the podcast. It's
Okay, awesome.
beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So tell me about the award.
Yeah, that actually was an award for a commercial that I did with Joseph Cinemato for America's Children of Fallen Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually working on a secret project right now that's in production. So that's going to be coming out within the next few weeks. And you might be surprised, because I have a feeling I might get another Telly Award coming up next year.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So what do you plan to do with the 25 awards you get in the next 25 years or whatever? So you have some place in your house that, yeah.
I put them in my home office on the walls, or some are ones at my mom's house by the TV,
Yeah.
and some are put away in the closet. But I'm a humble woman, but when I need inspiration, or I need to remind myself who I am, and I look at the awards, I remember my accomplishments and the people I help. So I'm not trying to brag, but as a businesswoman, sometimes it reminds me to keep going when I
Yeah.
see them. Hmm.
Well, thank you for reminding me. Last year at the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, I won 2 awards.
Why
And
aren't they back of you so I could see
well,
them?
because in back of me are antique Indian native blankets that are about a quarter of an inch thick and are excellent soundproof. And if I put the
Oh,
award, it would bounce off. The sound wouldn't be very
I
good.
got you. Well, I'm glad that you let me know about those 2 awards. I want you to get more.
I definitely want to get more. So, yeah. So we've talked a little bit about everything, but in terms of branding. So, what is your definition of branding?
My definition of branding is to reflect who you are, not in your personal life and your career, your lifestyle. You want to be very authentic. You could be yourself and be real and still be branded like a celebrity, you know?
Yeah.
So branding to me is one of the top priorities for my clients and myself. And, you always want to be ahead of your competition, you
Mm.
know? So when I look at other companies or companies that come to me, and some, I could tell right away, oh, this person knows exactly how to brand themselves. And then there's some where it's like, that font you use, those images, you look so amateur.
Mm.
What are
Mm.
you doing?
Mhm.
So to me, branding, a real professional and a consumer, they look at stuff like that, and it's going to make you successful or you're going to close up shop, period.
Yeah.
And branding can be a powerful tool if you use it correctly, you know? So that's why I continue to brand myself as a entrepreneur, as a leader in my community. And, I have to live to that.
Mm.
Um, but you would be amazed at the opportunities in business that it brings to HBM from people who see me on the news for helping children, or
Mm.
see stuff like that. Every time I'm on the news, I'll get one or two emails that are significant to supporting or sponsoring, or just an angel that I need to come into play at that moment. So for me to brand myself, when I get news hits, when I get PR releases, that
Mhm.
opens floodgates for people that pursue me.
Mhm. Time for more coffee.
Yes,
Love
yes.
it. We're gonna call this episode, Coffee with
Coffee
Sophie.
with Sophie.
Yeah, see, I'm glad you like to have fun, because I have this little thing going on, is if it's not fun, I'm not doing it.
You got to have fun and laugh. You got to.
Yeah, I know. So HBM, what does HBM stand for?
To be honest, HBM stands, when I first started, it was actually Honey Bellas LLC. And once I started growing,
It was what?
Honey Bellas, and that was just like a cute little name I made, when it was
Yeah.
just a hobby years ago. And
Uh-huh.
then when I started realizing, hey, this is a business, like treat it like it, I rebranded the name, and I actually got my attorney, the best attorney in the game, Kelly Bagla,
Yep.
to help me with that. And I'm one of her clients, and I told her I wanted to change it to HBM Talent Management legally. So we did that. And
Mhm.
then it doesn't necessarily stand for anything, but that was how it started.
Mhm.
It's just HBM. That's me. That's Sophie Felix's brand.
Who inspires you?
Several people. My Nana Jenny inspires me. She's always been a big cheerleader. My family sometimes are like, we don't even know what you're always, doing all this stuff. But they've been so supportive. Like,
Mm.
so if it wasn't for my mom and my grandma, I wouldn't be where I am today. Baby Isaiah Wallace inspires me. It's a little boy that I support. He was hit by a teen drunk driver when he was a baby. And for the past 9 years, I've done volunteer work with him directly. I've done a lot of fundraising for him, took him to Disneyland, SeaWorld, and I also connect celebrities and my talent to do meet and greets with him. So
Mm.
he inspires me a lot, just that, because he never gives up on himself, and just that love he gives me inspires me a lot. Also, my business partners, people that have invested into me. Everyone thinks because I get these words, and there's a lot of people behind me, behind the scenes, that actually really support me when it comes down to stuff. They've been there, and they've partnered with me. They made sure I got scholarships for education. They put me on platforms. So I have a strong team of people that have supported me, and they inspire me, because when someone invests either their resources, their time, their love or their money into me, I'm going to make sure that I'm a winner. So they inspire me, and Jesus inspires me. I pray a lot. A lot of my ideas come from prayer and meditation,
Mm.
and I'll just get the vision, and I'll get that feeling like you have to go do this. I don't understand why, but I know it's for a
Yeah.
reason, or it's going to help somebody. So often I get those feelings to pursue things, and later on, they end up being wonderful, wonderful experiences, or they help me in business. So Jesus doesn't want me to be broke or struggling. So he provides the opportunities for me at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's what I call working from the inside out.
Yeah, you have to be a good person, even if you brand yourself well and you have money and you're, the top of the world. If you're not happy and you're not a good person, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, can you think of a one or two, or maybe just even one defining moment in your life where everything changed for you?
Yeah, the day I decided to quit my day job and go after my dream, it was one of those things where it was kind of scary, but I knew if I didn't do it right then, it wouldn't happen. So that was a thing. And, I think my experiences with Isaiah where things were really scary and I didn't know how we were going to raise the money for his van or, how we were going to pull things off. And it would happen last minute. A story I could tell you, it's very emotional. And, I get very emotional with it. So I'm going to make it short. One time he was in the hospital and I went to go see him and he was very not doing too good. And when he saw me, he just gave me the biggest smile. But his mom was like, he hasn't smiled all day. He's not doing good. And I realized he smiled at me to let me know, like, to make sure I'm okay. So I was like, man. And I went home and I was just like, I got a call from Linda, the founder of Passion for Kids. She's my mentor. She introduced me to him and she told me, hey, Sophie, the hospital said we need to try to get a handicapped accessible van because every time we have to take him to the hospital, we have to get ambulance. We don't have the money. It's thousands. We need to get him a van. So I asked her, well, how much is that? And she said 40,000 for a brand new one, handicapped. And I said 40,000. Like I was so exhausted from fundraising for his house. At that point, I was like, okay, let's figure it out. But right now,
Yeah.
so I told her, hey, call the news and let them know he's in the hospital and we need help. She's like, I'm already on that. So I'm like, all right. But I was like, call the news and tell them to run the story, please, because I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I went to Sunset Cliffs in San Diego, and there's this beautiful spot that I pray and meditate at. You have to walk kind of down a cliff, but it's on the cliff, and you could see the sunset and waves, and it's very therapeutic to me. And I did a prayer for him, and I told Jesus, "Hey, I really need help. Make this happen, and I'll use this as a testimony in the future. But please help us. Like I'm scared." And I went home. And then about 3 days later, I get a call from Linda and she's like, hey, come to the hospital tomorrow. We're going to do a surprise. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, well, the news aired the story and this lady called me and she bought the van. And I said, what? And she's
Mm.
like, yeah, she paid everything up front. And she told me, meet her at the dealership and pick it out. We got a burgundy van and we're going to surprise Isaiah at the hospital tomorrow. I want you to be there. So I was like, yes. So I go to the hospital. I see the van around the corner and it has this huge red bow. And I call his parents and tell them, hey, come out. The ambulance is ready. Like, we're ready to take you guys home. And they come out and they're pushing him. And right when they come out, the van's pulling up. And they were just like, whoa. It was a really good experience for me because I realized that if you really, really have faith and believe in something, then sometimes it could happen. And I felt at that moment Jesus told me, like, it's gonna be okay, like I got you. And the woman there that donated for the van, she came and I hugged her and I told her, like, this meant so much to us, like, thank you so much. And she stopped me and she said, do not thank me. And she was like, Jesus told me to do it. And then she walked away. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And what was really cool about this woman was she didn't want her name to be released to the public,
Mm.
and most sponsors back then, or even now, like that donate, they want a huge like PR thing and their name and logo, which is absolutely great and fine. But for her to say that and tell me that and not even want that public recognition, it really inspired me and it really empowered me as well to the things that I put my heart into, they could really happen.
Yeah. And it's nice that you get to the awards, but you're not doing it for the awards, right?
I do it for the feeling. And when I see like the family or the kids actually happy, It makes me feel really good.
Yep. I get you big time. Yeah, it's huge.
So I think that was a big game changer, because once I got that confidence and realized that, I implemented that with my career and with HBM.
Mm. So to me, that's service. That's living life in service.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm so taken care of, because when you're real about it, you'll be, things will go good for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm a little speechless, actually. I just want to savor it. No,
Okay.
it's great. I'm sure you have other stories too.
And that's just one story of about 10 life-changing ones, but you asked me to just say one. And this is only an hour-long podcast, so that was a memorable, loving experience, and I love to talk about it to special people.
Uh-huh. Well, just so you know, there are podcasts out there that go 10 hours.
I'm not down with that. I'm busy.
You said you wanted to keep this short, so, I mean, we could keep it short. If there is there anything else you wanna talk about? I mean, I could talk with you all day. I would be listening all day.
No, I just want to emphasize, any entrepreneur listening to this podcast, to never give up, to always, when you go, be a man or woman of your word. Business doesn't always happen exactly like you want, but your clients, if they see that you're honest and at the end of the day you do deliver, you got to follow through. And because of the pandemic right now, it's so vital for you to rebrand your business. Even if you don't have a business, rebrand your resume, your headshot, and be ready and prepared to make sure that you are on top of your game.
Mhm. Why specifically during this time of the pandemic do you feel it's important to rebrand yourself?
It's very important, because most of my clients and businesses that are coming to me, they want to see an increase in sales, or they have downtime right now and resources where they can do it.
Mhm.
So they're looking to, even successful entrepreneurs, like my client Shawna B. She's the top celebrity real estate agent in LA, and she's like trying to develop a company, start other stuff, but rebrand herself as well. So I'm working closely with her now. And, it's not just talent, it's normal people, it's entrepreneurs. They're thinking of other ways to create revenue and survive. And I just hope that anyone that hears this, they'll get some good advice and tips and look at it that way.
Mm. I'm in the process of doing that, my company, Heard Not Seen Media. So I recommend for what you exactly just said, it's a perfect time to start podcasting. And it's
Mm-hmm.
and mainly because it takes time. It's one of those trusted relationship building mediums that it takes time, and people have time now, and they don't have to make it complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just start the conversation with the people you care about. And I got to tell you, spending time with you has just been, it's kind of made my week.
I'm so glad to hear that. And, I hope that I could be on your podcast again in the future.
Well, I was going to say that you are welcome around my campfire anytime. And I am the host on 3 podcasts, or co-host at least. And if there's something you want to talk about, reach out. Okay.
Perfect. I'll bring the hot cocoa. If I'm not drinking coffee, I love hot cocoa with whipped cream. And I love this certain, it's like a green tea, Zen tea. I drink that sometimes, but I love my coffee.
Yeah, yeah. Good. I do too. I love my coffee. I have no idea what your coffee is
If
like.
a coffee sponsor hears this, reach out.
Exactly. We have a spot for you. We have a spot for you. Anything else you want to cover?
No, thank you so much for having me. And for any of the listeners that want to reach out, my
Yep.
website is hbmtalent.com. And for America's Children of Fallen Heroes, our website is heroeskids.org. Thank you so much for having me.
Sophie, you're really welcome. And all that will be in the show notes as well, folks. So when you're sitting on your phone and you want to reach out, I've been telling people when somebody comes up in your mind, like, I wonder how Sophie's doing. Just pick up the phone. Yeah, you can text them. Yeah, you can email. Nah, pick up the phone. I was thinking of you like right now. So it's like if you have a thought to get a hold of Sophie, do it just like right now. All right.
Awesome.
So for All Mavens Branded Podcast, my name is John Beathan, your host. And of course, you can get this podcast anywhere you get your podcast. And you're welcome to go to allmavensbrandedpodcast.com. And there's a little blue button there. And you can actually click on that button and leave us a voice message. Could be a question, could be just anything at all. It could be appreciation, gratitude, and even love, any way you want to give it. So until next time,